Hi, this is Liam from Turn Sounds. If you're going to have a thumb war with someone, make sure you trim your nails as a professional courtesy.
Welcome to Just Keep Walking. This is a podcast focused on the Walking Dead universe. Today we're talking about Daryl Dixon, Season 1, Episode 4. Alright, La Dame de Fer.
I feel like that one should have been pretty easy.
Yeah?
La Dame de Fer.
Yeah, La Dame de Fer.
You just make it seem so effortless. My name's Ben, joined today by...
Liam.
And...
Isaac, hello.
Yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. Now, obviously, spoilers ahead for the episode. Usually we do dive straight into it, and we'll do that pretty quickly here, but we've got one little a comment from last week that I want to read out. Oh, yeah?
Fantastic. Oh, this could wait.
Sure.
Building off of last week, where I had
go for it.
Google tell us actually how to say it. And
Oh,
what it
okay,
means.
yes, good.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, this is Lady Google's saying, maybe Lady? Who knows this?
La Dame de Fe.
One more time.
La Dame de Fe.
La Dame de Fer.
Yeah, and it means the lady to do.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's the direct translation, but I assume that kind of means like in our English, like the lady to do. No, the subject is the lady of this thing, the person in question, or the.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Or
a little bit.
would it be like the person who has to do it is the lady? Like, because the girl has to make the sacrifice at the end of the episode or something? I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch. French
Both are plausible.
speaking people can let us know.
Please.
Yeah. Well,
S'il vous plaît.
thoughts and theories are very welcome. We've got a comment from Squawking Dead, our good friends over there,
Hey.
who are still keeping up with us and listening. We really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Go check out
absolutely.
their podcast as well. If you're, especially if you enjoy deep dives, they really go very deep into all the episodes. They've got lots of good theories about stuff. And he was, I'll just read out the comment here. So he said, loving the conversation, fellas, especially some of the more technical discussions. Just wanted to weigh in on the more incredulous decisions. Is that a word?
Incredulous?
Incredulous. There we
Good
go.
word
That sounds better.
usage.
Yeah.
Very good. Just wanted to. Oh, there we go. Like folks in makeup, the zombie conductor, and acts that just seem wasteful or without purpose. It kind of goes back to the title and the conversation Isabel has with Daryl back in the pre-apocalypse flat. Paris will always be Paris. Name of the episode as well. Whether it's changing the world, living, breathing, or dying by your art form, and or relinquishing your burdens onto a higher order, be it God or pervertivivience. I don't know how to read that.
Okay.
These are the folks who made it and feel as though some of that has to do with never giving up on the things that make them feel alive. And it makes sense that some of that becomes twisted, or there's a few of them left, or regardless of the post-apocalypse skill level, they just simply were lucky and to have gotten by all this time. So Paris will always be Paris kind of means that to them, that survival isn't everything. And so kind of that to me, like, it kind of makes sense in the sense of playing into the, the name of the episode. There was all the weird stuff. Yeah, the zombie conductor and all that, but it's like, okay, I kind of get it. They were saying, like, the line in the episode that Paris has been through a few apocalypses before, and, you can't let that stop everything. So
Just to
Yeah.
comment on, I mean, that's
I apologize for my reading of the comment, by the way.
yeah.
That was terrible.
That's all good. That's all well and good, but kind of, I was thinking about what you said about that, Ben. Like, yes, you can always have your traditions and the things you love, and remember when we used to have music and dancing and all these things, but you still also need food and water and clothes,
Sure.
and all the basic necessities. So
Sure.
unless they're overly abundant with those, which it doesn't seem like they are, other than like they've got their Scotch collection and everything.
Yeah.
So I get it, absolutely, yeah. Paris will always be Paris, but still.
Well, I guess did they even dive into that too much? Like, because it's hard to know if there's like the nightclub and stuff. Do they just have like a massive supply of food, so that's why they can live more, decadently?
Je ne sais
Nice
pas.
word usage there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess that's something they haven't really addressed maybe enough in the show because it does make you ask that question. Hey.
Good question.
There we
though.
go.
So
Very
they're
good.
they're watching the series as well then,
Yeah, definitely.
and enjoying it. Or are they similar to us? Like,
Yeah, mixed things, but yeah, I mean, definitely their approach is sort of they'll still, give their thoughts on the episode, but they definitely like to dive into the deeper meanings of things and all that. So, whereas we stay fairly surface level with some of it. So, yeah, it's kind of different way of looking at it, but and definitely, enjoying it enough for sure.
Squawking Dead.
That's it. That's them.
All right.
Couple of good eggs.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey.
Yeah. So overall thoughts for episode 4, Isaac. Do you want to start?
Well, really, my first note for it summarizes the entire thing, and that's just what's going on with like 1, 2, 3, 4. I put 4 ends on. So very confused for a lot of it. Very confused for the decision making, the character motivations, the things we're probably supposed to feel because of certain musical cues going on.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like Leo and Jonah Hill in that Wolf of Wall Street movie was like, you feel anything? No. You? No. So,
Okay.
yeah, base level enjoyment. There were some really funny bits that happened that I
For
just
sure,
found very funny. But yeah, almost worse than the previous episode.
Okay.
Almost.
Liam, how about you?
Yeah. Let's be
It was-
grown-ups
yeah.
here, Liam.
Okay, I'll try and
We just got a
diversify
comment
my
that
lexicon.
used the word incrudulous. You've
Fine,
got
I'll
to
update my
Yeah.
do
nomenclature,
more than
all right?
fart sounds.
Yeah, Ben just said decadent. Come on.
Did you not just hear me drop lexicon and nomenclature?
I did. I was very impressed.
Yeah, look, this episode was not great. I think you sort of hit the nail on the head with what's going on.
Yeah.
It's really confusing right off the get-go. I think all three of us were like, huh? What? I
Yeah.
don't understand. And no real answer sort of came my way from my perspective. Yeah, I just didn't care about the characters. I gotta say, normally I'm not fussed with the F-bombs, but I feel like they're just sort of milking it for no reason other than they can. So it feels a bit weird.
Yeah, it almost because there's moments where it's like, oh, that was like a cool
That punch.
Yeah.
that really
Yeah,
made that
it
line sink. But
emphasizes it, but-
when they use it all the time just for pointless
You're
lines.
like, okay, cool. This is weird now. Doesn't really fit. But just in general, I just thought this episode was pretty boring.
In summary.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll start off with a positive. I thought the music was really good. This pretty much the whole episode, even though
Yeah.
we've had a few things to say about it in a few other points. But yeah, towards the end, there was the point where the guy, at the bar says Laurent's name, and that bass comes in that they use later, sort of a pulsing kind of sound. I don't know. There was some real creative stuff. I thought it sounded pretty decent. So look, there's a few positives like that overall, but similar to you guys, I think the main thing is each individual scene. It's like, there's a lot here working, but they've just forgot to give us a reason to care about any of it. Like, I just, we're over halfway through now, and I don't even know what the point of the story. Like, on a superficial level, they've got to get this kid to somewhere, but like, I don't really care about the characters. Daryl and the Runt still don't really have a relationship. They're just kind of there with each other. It's just a bit hard to really care about any of it. So then that made me zone out of a few scenes and probably miss a few things. But I don't know. So I guess with this opening scene, right? So it ended with him falling through the roof.
Right, in the
Yeah.
And so we see him running around these like catacombs or whatever still. And my first thought was like, okay, that's a bit strange. I guess like the last we saw of him was he fell through a building, so okay, he's down here, whatever. This whole scene with Laurent and him like almost giving like Daryl like a weird smile, like a defiant sort of smile. And then all of a sudden Daryl's underwater stabbing hungries.
Yeah. So like I'm happy for that to be the opening of the episode and to not know what's going on, as long as you pay it off by the end of the
Yeah.
episode,
True.
and then it all makes sense. But yeah, so that, like, I mean, it might have been a dream. It might come back at some point, but I don't think, having it at the start of an episode and then not paying it off until a different episode, really makes. It doesn't really work so well for me, at least.
Well, I did like that they cut to a shot of the ceiling that had a big hole in the roof.
Oh yeah.
So that put that to bed for me straight away, because I was like, okay, you fell through the roof into the water, and now you're
Yeah.
getting attacked, and that's where you fought your way out. So it did answer that, but then it just put a very confusing sort of tone into my head. Like, was it a vision? Was he dreaming? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You could have all sorts of theories for it, but again, it's the sort of thing where it's like, I just don't quite care enough to think deeper about it. But, hopefully it'll go somewhere interesting. I guess this is just a very overall thing. Oh, there we go. There's that lovely music.
Yeah, Bach cello concerto.
That's the name. I was trying to figure out what it is. I was thinking concerto or concerto.
You said it better.
The same with just the whole, how did Daryl get to Paris? Like, I really hope they tell us by the end of the season, and I'm going to be pretty unhappy if they don't. Because, like, you're asking a lot of us as the audience to just go with it. It's like, okay, well, as long as you're going to give us a satisfying payoff, sure. But, like, if it's just because you're lazy and you couldn't come up with a good reason, or you're just going to try and string us along for 2 or 3 seasons, and so this was maybe in a smaller sense a similar thing, to start the episode with something confusing and then just not acknowledge it or explain it at all.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Could I quickly bring up something maybe a little bit contentious?
Sure.
We're at 12 minutes, Ben, if you want to cut off. I don't know. But in the titles that were coming up, we saw executive producer Scotty M. Gimple. So I said good old Scotty G, to which Liam said Goose.
I did say Goose.
I thought we liked Scotty G.
I've never been a fan of Scotty G. I've been very vocal about this.
Since when were you a fan of Scotty G?
Under the Christmas tree. That song and everything.
Yeah.
Am I wrong that he was like the original showrunner and gave us like seasons 1 and 2 of Walking Dead and...
Frank Darabont you're thinking of.
Oh.
Scotty G is the wonderful... Sorry, I cut you off.
No, you go.
He's the wonderful gentleman who gave us the season 6 cliffhanger. And the whole dumpster fake out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Scotty G. All right. Okay. I understand now. I thought he had such a big part in the whole universe and everything, and like says yes and no to all the big decisions.
So as a summary, so he's started... Well, I think he was involved in the show earlier, but he was the showrunner for season 4 through to the end of season 8. So he had a pretty solid start, 4 and 5. Some of the better seasons of the show. But yeah, then it went downhill. End of season 8, he got promoted technically to chief content officer. Is that
Something
right?
like
So
that,
now
yeah.
he just oversees the whole universe and how it all ties into each other, but he's not actually running the show specifically. Until maybe now the Rick and Michonne show, I think he might be doing that.
He oversees the
wonderful.
whole universe.
Yeah.
So we can thank him for World Beyond. We can thank him for...
Okay. Right then. So
Yeah.
executive producer. All right. So maybe some of these decisions were his.
Yeah, I mean, the term executive producer is pretty loose anyway. Like,
Nebulous.
they tend to give a lot of people that with very varying levels of involvement. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Oh, yeah, what was this whole thing with the baby?
My note for that, if you've got a baby that's crying, step away with that baby. Excuse yourself and say, I'm sorry, let me... Like, I get that they're all there, like, at gunpoint or whatever, but you've got a crying baby. What, are you going to run away? Are you going to, start a revolution? No, you're going to try and, like, settle the baby. Because a baby cries at a particular pitch, which is just so painful for everyone to listen to, especially long term, and especially when you're trying to have a conversation with someone else. So settle your baby, step aside.
And if you don't want someone to take it as well,
Yeah.
this is an excuse to step aside and a reason someone wouldn't want to touch it. Just say they've got diarrhea or they've been throwing up all morning. No one's going to
Yeah.
take the baby if they're going to get chucked up on.
That's
That's
true.
That's
Yeah.
it.
But I mean, that was kind of, what was the point of all this? Because it felt like she was going to chuck the baby off the roof or something. It was
Oh,
really
man.
ominous music. And then just nothing happened.
I was like, my stomach was unsettled
Same.
this
yeah.
whole time. Like, I'm thinking they wouldn't do something so horrific like that. And then I thought, oh, maybe she's gonna say, I will keep this baby or
That's what I
whatever.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This sounds horrible. Like I don't care about the characters, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see that whatever her name is and the baby is with her in another episode.
baby's a hard work,
yeah.
man. She doesn't want that.
You might be right, though.
I wouldn't be shocked.
It is a big power move, though. If someone else settles your baby, as a
yeah.
parent, you're like, huh.
Yeah. Sure. The whole scene with this pigeon dude.
Oh, you want my note for that?
Yeah, sure. What's your note?
So he comes riding up with the bike, and it's just such a random thing to see a guy driving pigeons around on a bike. So I laughed. But yeah, what was the whole purpose of Pigeon Man's death? Is my note here. Like, you've got this whole scene here, and Daryl says, "Oh, I'm looking for this address or whatever," and so they're gonna go there together. And all of a sudden, you know, people come up from ages away. Somehow, Daryl is the only one that hears the truck coming, but he doesn't. Pigeon guy doesn't want to abandon his bike, but then loves his pigeons so much that he has to go and protect them, for which he dies. You remove that entire scene, what do you lose? Nothing.
Pigeons.
Yeah, well,
It's so like this. Hopefully, Squawking Dead will have something to say about this because it seems like something that's more thematic than actually adding to the plot. Like, there's probably a bunch of stuff you could
can you not
tie
do-
in, but like, yeah, it's. I
part.
can't think of any reasons it's actually useful to the plot.
And-
Aside from just making the bad guys seem bad and making you not like them.
True, but then they die straight away as well, so it's not even something that you can.
Yeah, true.
I actually thought that Daryl was trying to like Grand Theft Auto his bike. When he was like, "Oh, give me the bike," I thought he was about to get on the bike and ride away. He was like, "My pigeons!"
Be like the scene from Mr. Bean where he steals the then
Slow
only
bike.
goes like 2Ks an hour.
I thought that this guy was about to rat out Daryl and be like, "Look, he's right over there. Just give me my pigeon bike back."
I mean, I felt bad for this guy. It was the most emotion I felt the whole
Yeah.
episode.
Me too.
You know, he just wants to set his pigeons free and stuff, but like, yeah, it's a bit pointless.
I agree with you, Ben, about like thematic stuff with him like releasing the pigeons and having that moment where he's granting this guy his last wish before he dies. But can you not do it both, where you have great thematic scenes that also advance the plot?
Surely, with good writing, you could do that, couldn't you?
Yeah, there was something that he saw that the bad guys had that he can put two and two together for Daryl to say, "Oh, that's where they're from," or like, I don't know.
And then you've got like his morning star dangle down over this guy, like he's gonna like whack him in the head.
And then it just cuts away. Nothing happens.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't see it. But then also
Sure,
like,
yeah.
oh, because he threw his knife at the other guy, so he doesn't have his knife on.
Yeah,
him.
but just go pick it
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Well, you couldn't pick it up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know, hey. But yeah, I don't really care either.
You're also telling me that the next time Daryl's hungry, he's not just going to grab a pigeon and eat it because he remembers old pigeon guy and those pigeons that got released.
Yeah, maybe.
He's 100% going to eat a pigeon the next one he sees.
Yeah.
They taste good, actually.
Really? Like
Yeah.
chicken?
Yeah.
Cool.
Bit of butter and rosemary.
This actually gives me a thought. We were
Okay.
discussing how it doesn't make sense for them to be living as decadently and as frivolously and all that jazz. These cats are like, ooh, pigeons, let's eat these.
Yeah.
So they've sort of shot themselves in the foot there with that in mind, haven't they?
Good point.
To be fair, though, like I have just said, we are by no means living in squalor, right? But if I still see a pigeon that's good and fat and tasty, I'm going to take it home and eat it.
You're talking about now in real life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not like a
Hey.
trash pigeon off the street, like a wood pigeon. You know, you go hunting.
Oh,
and
right. Okay.
I'd still do that. Yeah,
Fair enough.
they're
fair enough.
tasty. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Don't know if I've ever heard anyone in my life say, "Yeah, I'd eat a pigeon. This is great."
Walking along the streets in the city.
Dinner.
That looks tasty.
Manna from the sky, I tell you.
Wood pigeons.
All right. So what? Okay, this is Isabel's apartment, is it?
Yeah.
Got some scene there. Yeah. Look, I mean, we can kind of skip through this unless you guys have any notes. But all this stuff, you know, the guy at the bar, Laurent's dad, I just don't care about any of
I'm
it.
with you.
Yeah. So I don't
Yeah.
have too much to say, really.
Same with whatever her name is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you notice that he doesn't look at her once? Not once in the whole episode.
Oh, what? Maybe it's like the Sixth Sense. Maybe she's a ghost.
Oh.
Oi.
Well, he's talking to her.
Actually, Daryl saw her too.
My guess is that they had some kind of romantic relationship and he's just done with her now. And
She's
like he's
jealous.
he's completely iced her out. Like, look, he's barely talking to her, barely acknowledging that she's there and won't even look at her. So this is, I guess, a plot device that she will betray him later just because a woman's scorned and all that.
Which she kind of did by letting Daryl and Laurent walk.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That whole scene as well. This is now skipping around a bit, but like that just. I get what they were going for, and it's like the classic thing of held at gunpoint. And, no, go. But like it seemed so forced to me because
Yeah.
why did she point a gun at them? Which is like she could have just let them go anyway.
Yeah, it was a bit stupid.
Yeah, it just sort of there's a few tropes. There's obviously the eye one as well, looking through the hole, and then it goes quiet, and then there's an eye. It's like, come on, guys, I've seen this
You're
so
better
many
than
times
this.
before, and you've
Fool
just done
me
it
once.
worse than everyone else has ever done it.
All right, yeah, I'll scrub through a little. Oh yeah,
Eiffel
Tower.
The sounds were cool. You know,
Yeah.
croaking of the metal, all that.
Good memory, Ben.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, the scale of it looked a bit off until we got a much better look at it up close. Because at first we were sort of saying, oh, it looks like, well, I was saying it looks smaller than you picture the Eiffel Tower to be.
Yeah, no room for a John Wick radio station
Yeah.
up there.
But nah, then the for scale, like you see him walking up to it, starts to look way bigger. And then the camera like does a neat trick here where it like, watch what happens where it. Do you see that? I don't know how to explain that.
Not really.
Like it kind of like zooms a little bit further in on him and then just raises slightly, and it really gives the feeling that you're on the Eiffel Tower
Yeah,
in a way,
right.
and it just makes it look a lot taller up than Laurent is. I don't know, that really hit home for me. See that?
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
As he's looking up as well.
There was a lot of like interesting camera moves and stuff this episode. Hey,
Nothing to complain about on that front,
Yeah.
actually, from me.
for sure. I mean, this eye thing is definitely to complain about.
Absolutely. Shame on you, Scotty G.
Yeah, we'll just blame him for everything. Everything that doesn't work. Yeah, so it was at least we got some sort of a zombie action scene, you know, out in the apocalypse. That I guess you take what you can get to an extent. But yeah, like looking at all these scenes down in like a nightclub with neon lighting and stuff, it's like this just isn't what I want
No.
from a Walking Dead show. But at
Yeah.
least this, we're out in the apocalypse. You know, even though it's really random that they just suddenly come out from behind this wall after however long. You know, it's exciting. It's a scene, got some cool fight choreography.
I did like, so at first you're seeing Isabel, she's like with both her hands stabbing with this knife, and it looks very feeble and sort of like she has a basic understanding of what to do and she's going for it. But then the more I thought about it, have you guys ever been axe throwing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, when they teaching you how to do it, you can throw with one arm or you can throw with both. It's way more consistent to throw with both, and your arm doesn't get as tired because you're using both of them. And I just looked at her technique there and went, do you know what? You're going to get way more stabs in doing the double armed leaning forward like that.
Yeah, right.
So
True.
goofy and would never work on an actual human, but for walkers, sure.
Hmm. Oh, that was kind of funny when he got taken away in the car. He didn't even try to get out.
No.
It's like he's like, "Hi, Daryl," and then
Yeah.
just gets.
Like, was he tied in there or something?
So, I mean, there is... This is, again, comes a bit down to, like, how much is just weird directing or, like, unintentionally coming across a certain way and how much is supposed to be there. Because there's definitely some seeds they're planting of, Laurent. Because the nuns believe he's some sort of messiah or something, and he was able to console the old lady, and he drew the picture of Daryl 2 weeks before he arrived and stuff like that. So it's kind of like there's a few things. Is this supposed to be because he knows something that everyone else doesn't? And that's definitely what would be kind of implied from the first scene if it's not a dream. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Does part of you want it to be true that he is some kind of, not quite messiah, but just like, yeah, that he has some kind of supernatural ability or importance?
I'm alright with him being immune, but not like actually a supernatural thing.
Yeah, I'm probably less on that page, more of I don't like all of it. I loved the concept of The Walking Dead where who originally wrote it? Robert Kirkman and
Tony Adler?
that sounds
something like
right.
that.
Yeah. Like I still think to this day they've never disclosed how the outbreak started. And I think they've interviewed people, they've gone on interviews and said that, we know how it started. We've got the answer to that, but we're not going to do that. We like the idea that it's much more intense where people just don't know. This is just the world they're thrown into.
Are we thinking though that it is like a closed canon as far as like what can be developed within the world? Like, because if you think about a natural progression or whatever, if you think about how ridiculous it is, first of all, that there are like Walking Dead people around, that in itself is like a supernatural type of element. And so it's not too far-fetched, I don't think, to start to introduce characters that are, maybe it starts off with them being immune, and then maybe they can start to control the hordes, similar to like how the Whisperers would. And we start to see small little variations like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Slowly. Not all
Sure.
at once, yeah.
I mean, at this stage, they can do whatever they want, and I guess
Yeah.
because they've capped off the main show, at least now there's sort of like more room to experiment, and you can just pretend it doesn't exist if you don't like it. But yeah, still, at least for me, it just wouldn't really fit within the appeal of what we like about the world in general. So yeah,
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
sure, yeah, there you go. Nice Ian Malcolm quote.
Exactly.
We got a scene here of I've written here like the stepdad, or like if
The dad who stepped up.
Oh, like when the parents split up and you go and stay at the dad's house and he's like giving you the lollies and stuff like that to try and like. So yeah, you got daddy giving candy. What's
Oh,
the
the
favorite dish of
joke.
a vampire? Let me Google this.
So this has got to be something that like it's the name of a French dish and the pun works in French, but it doesn't translate to English. But like, why did you pick that joke for
Yeah.
a show that's mainly watched by
Ridiculous, right?
an English-speaking audience? Very random. This is super side tangent, but they only just updated the popcorn recently. The the Poppin brand, the microwave popcorn.
Yeah.
But for a good like 8 years or so, it had the movie trivia on there, and it had a really like specific Walking Dead season 3 question, which is what word does Morgan write over and over again in season 3 of The Walking Dead? I was like, oh, that's a pretty
like
solid
that.
question.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a super generic one that anyone would
No.
know from, if they haven't seen it.
I like that.
Yeah, and it was on there for ages. It's like, oh wow, like most people have stopped doing Walking Dead. It's still on the popcorn. There you go.
There you go.
Ah, that's cool.
Don't know if any other countries had that.
So I got this from Google. I've said, what is a vampire's favorite dish? Google said blood. Thanks, Google. And then it even follows it up with, blood drinking can be compared to humans for consuming food and drinks. They need blood to survive. Okay,
Well,
great.
Yeah,
I'm
but you
glad
didn't
we
ask
covered that.
Google what's the punchline to the joke. You just asked what's a vampire's food. Yeah, fair enough. Anything?
Nectarines, like neck,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I don't think that's what he said though, was it?
I'm leaving that alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very silly.
Oh well.
So,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we can just kind of skim through the rest unless you guys have any notes. We got Daryl's torture scene.
Which was weird.
Yeah, it's just a bit weird.
didn't like it.
No.
Yeah.
The whole thing about a torture scene is it's what bad guys do.
Hmm.
And it's like, if our hero is forced to do something terrible, like torture another person because they desperately need to get information and there's no other way, it has to be at their own great peril. And then we see the characters sort of, their souls suffer from it inside, and it like torments them, and they realize that it was the wrong way to go about getting information. Like that, we've seen in other movies as like our hero's lowest of the low moment where they sunk to that level
Yeah.
of torture. And yet we've got Daryl doing it so flippantly. He like gets a pig shiv and like stabs this guy. I think I counted 7 times. And he just like walks around with all of these puncture wounds in him. You can hear his breathing is all labored, like maybe he's hit a lung or something. I just don't get how you can survive that.
No. There's no way you'd be walking at bare minimum. You'd have punctured, like you say, potentially punctured lungs. If you stabbed in the stomach, you've definitely got like messed up intestines. You'd have acid leaking out into your body. Like, you'd be in so much pain.
Because as well, like I won't go on and on about this, but it's like, okay, so you might say, all right, well, Daryl, he's a bit of an anti-hero. Maybe he doesn't play by all the rules, and so that's where you've got the nun next to him, which is supposed to pull him back and say, like, you know, no, we're not going to do it this way. We're going to find another way. I just
Yeah, I mean, so like back at the farm, there was that kid they found who was potentially with the bigger gang, and Daryl sort of tortured him to try and get information. And that was back when Daryl sort of gave off the real cold, heartless exterior, but then you sort of gradually learn over time, yeah, okay, that's just how he was raised, but he does have a heart inside. And then with the Reapers more recently, then he sort of had to put on that facade and torture the guy to make face in front of, or save face in front of them, and like look like he was playing along with it. But you know, in both those situations, you kind of understood that there was a lot at stake in what he was doing. But here it's just like he's enjoying it or something. Yeah,
it wasn't a good fit for me at all, especially if we're supposed to like and get behind him.
Sure.
This dude that he's torturing is a guy we've known for all of 2 minutes. So it's not like even it's this guy that we hate and we're like, oh yeah, get him. So for me,
he should have killed the pigeon guy at least, or something.
Yeah.
something and eaten one of the pigeons.
Yeah.
right there on the street. No. So this one maybe was this scene most of all, like in this whole episode, where I'm just shaking my head going like, this was written all the wrong way. Like, yeah.
I wasn't a fan of his, like, it seemed to be normal Norman Reedus voice, I suppose you could call it. Like the gruff, gritty Daryl voice disappeared while he was doing the whole gym spiel.
Yeah.
And then after that goes back to rough, gritty Daryl. I'm like, why? What was the purpose of that? I feel like if you're, you've obviously stabbed, like you say, 7 times. You've stabbed this dude 7 times now. I wouldn't imagine you'd be wanting to be a little bit more upbeat or less gritty or gruff in the way you speak. I feel like gruff and gritty is probably going to be what you're going for if you're stabbing someone.
Because as well, if you compare it to someone like the Punisher, right? Actual Shane, there you go.
There you
There's
go.
a tie-in. When he has torture scenes and stuff like that, it's extremely like, yeah, I absolutely have to do this to find out what I want. And he doesn't tell some silly story like Daryl did. He's just like, yeah, this is what's going to happen. You're going to feel this pain. It stops when you tell me,
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Anyway, you've
There
got
we
the
go.
old "Yet I Smile" speech from
Yeah.
Wish version
This
of
guy.
the King.
But yeah, obviously the way Daryl reacts at the end again. I mean, this is the same as last episode. It's
Same
so good.
guy
He'll,
as well.
he'll give some real passionate speech, and Daryl's just like, "All right, cool." Yeah.
Kind of reflects how we're all feeling. All right, cool.
Yeah, pretty much. I couldn't even remember like that girl having any relationship. I know there was something.
They
Like-
went to the club together. They danced for a
Oh yeah,
bit.
okay.
Actually, yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Careful who you dance with. You might fall in love.
Oh dear. But yeah, this guy tied up on the stairs again. He's not like wheezing in pain, trying to survive. It's just like, oh, this is annoying. I'm stuck here tied to the stairs. Very random. Yeah. So what else did work this episode?
What else worked?
Yeah.
My absolute favorite, and this is my highlight for this episode, is they're in the or they're not quite catacombs anymore, is it? Like the secret entrance to the club, and Daryl leaves this guy to die. Bon appetit. And he gets eaten by walkers.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, at this point, they should have saved that for like a big villain death where he's trapped behind bars. No, and the walkers are coming in. Bon appetit.
That to me
Close
would have
it.
felt way more cheesy.
It
This
would have been
yeah.
completely cheesy. Yeah.
Nah, this kind of worked for me in a way that was just like, I don't care about you, here's my little final screw you in your own language, which I never speak.
Yeah,
So,
fair enough, actually.
Yeah.
That did work. Yeah, so the girl, Isabel, has to give herself up for some reason. I don't really know why,
Yep.
even though they explained it. Yeah, the whole deal. I don't know. Just don't really care.
Well, this is it. You've got the assault on the front of it, which, some cool tactics, I suppose. Good old diversion. We all like a good diversion.
Oh, yeah, that whole thing. I forgot about it, eh?
Then I suppose finally, the showdown with Daryl and Daddy. What's his name? What is his name?
I don't know.
Hover, move the mouse again. Oh, okay. In the description, if you go back, exit the episode for a second. Oh man, it had it there before. I don't know where it's gone. Yeah, I can't remember his name. Hey.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah, Jimbo. We'll go with that.
Sure. I see. I mean, it's a thing in this show or whatever, but I see some guy get one real good knuckle sandwich right to the face, pow, and his head knocks back, hits on the grate. You're one and done, my friend.
Yeah.
Who can take that, even with adrenaline and all of that? Maybe Liam could give some insight on this, but closed fist with rings on, your head
That-
snaps back.
Isn't as bad as you'd expect. Well, the ring sort of stuff is you're going to do probably more damage to yourself. You're going
Okay.
to break your fingers,
Okay.
for one thing. The same with brass knuckles and stuff. People hold them wrong.
Yeah.
You're going to crush your knuckles or crush your fingers. In terms of taking punches, that's how long's a piece of string. Some people have iron chins. Some people have glass chins.
Okay. Because I swear, I've been accidentally elbowed by someone while moving, and I go, oh,
I'll turn around casually and not realize that, I didn't close the door and, smack my head into the
Yeah.
door with so much more force than I thought I was, that's not even someone punching you,
you got to
thrown
take
off
at
for a
least
second.
10 seconds of
Yeah.
let me readjust.
Yeah.
But is it you're genuinely dazed or is it just pain?
Days.
Dazed?
Bit of both. maybe.
Yeah.
Confusion. If you don't expect it, I suppose
Yeah.
dazed in the confused sense, but true. If it's a fight and it's life or death, maybe things would be different, but if my bell got rung by one punch straight to the head, I dare say I'd be like, okay, take the boy, leave.
Well, it's just different. Your body starts shutting down. If you cop, and I've not been knocked out, but if you cop a punch to your brain, your brain is basically going, oh, this isn't good. Let's reboot. So
Right.
you start to lose control of your legs. You do the chicken dance, as it's called,
That's funny.
Yeah, like it's very rare for someone to take a punch and just fall asleep. Usually it's like you're woozy,
Punch drunk.
Yeah, it's not going to be a case of take a solid hit, go to sleep, take a nap. Unlike, movies sort of depict it that way.
Yeah,
Hmm.
interesting. Yeah, I will say that's definitely something that at least gives you a lot of appreciation for the earlier seasons of the show. Like we were talking last week about how they're always sweaty and stuff like that. But yeah, especially in season 4, like when Rick and Tyrese fight that one time, and it's
Yeah.
just like a little scuffle, and then Rick's hands are all bloody, and he has to have a bandage on it for like 3 episodes, and then after that, it's him and the governor punching each other, and Rick's like fully out for the count for like a
Yeah.
whole nother 2 episodes after that.
Oh yeah.
And so it really feels like the consequences are there where they're just not
Far
here
more
at all.
You got to think like swelling and stuff like that. Again, like you'd have these massive welts and black
Yeah.
eyes and everything. But you cut back to Jimmy or whatever his name is at the bar. He's just got a light bit of
Yeah, a
abrasion.
little
here.
scratch.
Yeah.
No, for like if that were real, his face would be black and blue,
Yeah.
cut up and
Unrecognizable.
yeah.
Mm.
Especially like the part where Daryl threw his head into a steel
Oh,
pole.
you're joking.
That's broken bone. That is.
Did I tell you about that time I ran into a pole when I was filming something? I was like, had
Yeah.
my eyes on the camera, and then it was like before the sun came up, so it was really dark, and I just ran into a
Mm.
street pole.
Ouch.
I
Had a
tell you-
black eye for a few days.
Not to branch out too far, but actually, you've just sparked a memory. I was
Yeah?
stupid. I was on my phone. I was
Okay,
walking
on.
home. I walked straight into like a street stop sign. You know,
Yeah,
it's, like,
right.
near a school, and because it was at nighttime, it was quite dark. I hit it, and my brain went full defensive mode because I thought that someone had hit me. So I went straight into what? Yeah, you want to, you know,
Like karate posture.
pretty much because it was very painful. But yeah. Blow to the head. I was at a pretty swift walking pace,
Yeah.
but yeah, I didn't shut down. I didn't fall. I went full fists are flying, and
That's
Wow.
awesome. So when
got
presented
the
with
good
a
reflexes.
stressor, well, it just shows that if you're presented with a ultimate stressor that gives you an adrenaline burst, then you go into fight, not flight.
cool.
Yeah.
That's probably stupid, but
Well, it
Well,
depends.
it depends on the circumstance.
You know, if you come against a black bear, you'll be all right.
no.
Yeah.
Brown, maybe not.
Brown lie down, black fight back. That's
That's
the
it.
rule with bears.
Okay. Seems racist.
Remember.
All right. Well, this last scene here, where you've got all these hugs, and you've got Laurent saying, "I don't want to go," and then there's all these hugs. Again, I didn't feel anything.
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know what was going on properly because she said, I've got to stay back because he's going to follow us
Yeah. he can
otherwise.
get
But
us
like,
out.
why? I don't know why Jimmy cares about her more than the kid. I get why he cares about the kid if it's his son and he feels something that way, maybe, sure. But like, why does he want Isabel?
She's the one that got away.
But
Well, she
does
stole
he
his
actually
car. And
like? Is it for revenge or is it because he loves her?
maybe he likes her.
Okay,
Don't know. She can party.
yeah, fair enough.
She has a job for him. Oh, he has a job for her. Pick someone's pockets.
Oh yeah.
Well, her line was something like, "I need someone well connected in the city," but to do what? I don't know.
To let them
Yeah.
get out. I thought that was my understanding, anyways. They weren't going to be able to get out without his well-connected.
Yeah, you know that
Influence.
guy who just smashed your head into a pole? I need to help him escape. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's like, if it was just a scene and it just happened, I'd be like, okay, yeah, we'll go somewhere with this. But it's all the doing a full emotional music and a
Yeah.
big scene out of it. Like, it just really doesn't feel like we're on the same page with the
No.
filmmakers by any means. Like, they're on a completely different wavelength of what they think we're going to be feeling and understanding of the scene.
yeah, it's like you say, Ben, like super reflective and like almost hopeful.
Mm.
But yeah, doesn't feel earned. It doesn't feel like I'm breathing that sigh of relief and going, "Oh, they made it," you know?
It's really nice music.
Yeah.
It's just wasted on the fact that nobody cares. Like the characters are not really that gripping.
Like, I mean, Isabel and stuff, like, they're likable enough characters as far as the charisma, and there's a few things about them that's like, oh yeah, I can get behind this person, but I just don't know what's actually happening at the moment and where they, what they want, what their character wants, where it's going, what the obstacles are.
Quick point of distinction as well. As soon as she walks in, he turns around and looks at her, which has really got a sting for this other girl who's been pining for his attention. So there's going to be something there where she's like, this. Oh.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So look, yeah, we'll see where it goes. I mean, at the very least, from the end of this, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Daryl and the kid out on the road. Hopefully that leads somewhere exciting. So this is one more thing, I guess, looking back at the early days of the show, and I mean, you can look at Breaking Bad and stuff as sort of really good examples of just setting up things in episodes that makes you want to come back for the next episode. And it doesn't necessarily just mean cliffhangers. Like, yeah, they can help to an extent, but giving you things that you care about, little goals for the characters that's like, oh yeah, I want to see them achieve that. And then mysteries. They've done that enough here. Like, we've got the mystery of the science experiment from the other episode, and there's a few things that will definitely, keep me coming back, hoping that we get answers to them. But it's only a few trivial things at this point. Hey, it's not like I want to see that character achieve this thing, or it's just like, I don't know why Daryl's here. I don't know where it's going. I hope he goes back to America at some point, but. Yeah.
See, for me, I'm only watching it because it's this, like, getting to chat with you guys.
Sure, yeah.
I would have probably bailed after episode 3.
Yeah, fair.
Probably the same. Yep. We're getting cool little Easter eggs along the way, and even with these other shows we were watching, Dead City and the like, even like Tales of the Walking Dead, I'm just being reminded of that now. Like, yes, there have been some pretty crazy duds and whatnot, but there have also been some fun times. So,
for sure,
salt and peppered through.
For sure, yeah.
Am I now just seeing Samantha Morton in the bottom left of?
Yeah, that's there's a whole Alpha episode from like the start of the outbreak.
Okay, I only watched the Terry Crews one with you guys.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think I've watched like half of the Alpha one. Like that, I haven't watched any of the others aside from the Terry Crews one. Yeah, with you guys.
Final note, and this is a cheeky one from me on this episode, is Emily, who's like main boss lady in the black suit, who has the scotch. Who holds the crying baby and everything. She makes a point because she says, what do you want to trade for Daryl? And he says, this painting. And then when he walks away, she like says to one of her posse members, like, impressionist art is for dummies or something.
Yeah, right.
And as it happens, I agree.
There you go. Yeah, I thought you were going to tie it in with Emily in Paris, if that's her name, Emily.
There you go.
Spin-off show.
Yeah.
One last note is that it's interesting, I guess, to have the Statue of Liberty is like the key iconography for Dead City, and then just randomly having it here. It's a little something. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
It doesn't seem as special a gift, does it? If you've made one for yourself in Paris as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we had a second one. Here you go.
All right. Well, that wraps it up for now then, I think. Any last thoughts, Liam?
No, nothing from me, unfortunately.
Cool. No worries. All right. Well, we're going to have a lot to talk about when the show ends, I think, because a lot of it does depend on if it's going somewhere and it pays off later. Okay, great. I'll look back on some things, a bit with a bit of a better perspective or a bit of a better light, But if it doesn't go anywhere, then it's like, oh man, screw this. So we'll see. Let us know your thoughts if you've listened this far. You can email turnsounds@gmail.com. That's right. Huh?
You're saying it like it's a question.
Yeah, it was. I was forgetting it, but yeah, that's the right one. Hey.
Si. Oui.
Okay, cool. Just Keep Walking on Instagram, and we're on Facebook as well, Turn Sounds. I don't know if we use Facebook that much these days.
Look, we'll see. It's a bit of a dead medium these
Yeah.
days, but
Oh, you can still message us there. So.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, get in touch. Let us know your thoughts, or like Squawking Dead did on YouTube, which
Hey.
you know, I don't want to mislead anyone, get their hopes up, because it's not like we actually post videos there. I just slap the thumbnail on and upload it because there's a few people who prefer to listen on the YouTube platform. But yeah, if that's your preferred way of listening, feel free to check us out there as well. So yeah, otherwise that's it for now. I've been Ben,
Still Isaac.
Sometimes Liam.
and thank you very much for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Farewell.
Just keep walking.
There it is.
Oh, that I forgot. Yeah,
I gave you plenty of time.
yeah.